Hey Sky fam, I'm your girl Leah Rose and welcome back to my channel. Here are a few things that you need to know before the United Airlines applications open. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. For anyone that's interested in becoming a flight attendant for a major US airline, a legacy, one of the big three, United Airlines is opening applications this Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day 2024. Go out, have your fun this weekend, but at the end of this long weekend, make sure that you're ready to put in the application because as always, we never know how long that application is going to stay open for. As soon as it opens, go ahead and send your application. Because if you do not already have a profile on their website, go ahead and make that, go ahead and upload your resume and make sure that you have everything you need to do. So it's just a few simple clicks to make sure that your application is in the running. Also had a lot of questions from people from other countries asking about my flight attendant alerts and if I can provide more information for international hires. I will try to include a little bit of that information. To be specific, this application that's opening is going to be for general English speakers. It might say LOD, language of destination, but this is for a open, broad flight attendant application. Now, if you currently either speak Hebrew, Dutch, Japanese, German, Hindi, or Italian, those flight attendant applications are currently open. If you speak any of those languages and can pass a proficiency test in any of those, go ahead, drop your application in. That does not mean you will only work those flights, but it means that you're able to go ahead and apply with those specific languages being a part of your application. So the basic requirements that anybody is going to have in order to even be considered for hire is they need to be at least 21 years old at time of application. United actually has one of the more liberal tattoo policies. You can actually have visible tattoos on your arms, on your legs, on your feet, on your wrists, but you cannot on your neck or head or face. Even if you have like a little one back here, if you want to apply and you do get to the interview stage, cover something that's like here up, because even behind your ear, neck, that's all considered a no-go. You must be in possession of a valid passport that still has at least 18 months of validity on it. You can have a passport that is valid with those same requirements that is not a US passport, but that means you must apply for any visas that is required of you for your passport, and you must be able to easily fly into and out of any of the countries that United flies to, because you could be allotted any of those when you're on reserve. You must be able to reach at least 82 inches, and you must be, of course, willing and able to relocate or commute to any of their main bases, including Chicago ORD, Denver Airport, IAH Houston, LAX Los Angeles, Newark, New Jersey, SFO San Francisco, or IAD, which is Washington, D.C. United's current starting hiring rate is $28.88, which is a decent starting hire rate. They are currently under negotiations along with American Airlines. I put out an American Airlines application notification a few months back, and in the comments under those videos are some people saying they were going to wait to put in their application, and then by the time they were going to go back, it was closed. So please, when you see this, go ahead, set up your profile. As soon as Tuesday opens and you see that the application is open, please drop your application. We never know how long these applications are going to be open for. When I say that United is in contract negotiations, they are unioned, and so because they are union, their union is fighting for a renewed contract for the flight attendants that they will live under for the next anywhere between 4 to 6 years, okay? This will create a pay raise, I am sure of it. Another major airline has just recently completed a new contract, and so it'll be comparable, if not more, than that contract. So contract negotiations are a good thing. If you come in now, even if you start at that $28.88, it is very, very likely that you will see a pay raise probably pretty soon into your career. Their per diem is $220. Per diem is basically anytime you're not flying. So you're paid that $28.88 when you are flying. Anytime you are not flying, you're paid your per diem. So like when you're away from base, when you're on your overnight, you are getting paid per diem. Their per diem is $2.20 for domestic flights and $2.70 for international trips. Now let's get into training. Training is 6.5 weeks in Houston, Texas. There are so many airlines that have their training in Texas, it's crazy. But it is 6.5 weeks in Texas. You get $140 week stipend, so $140 per week. You of course have your accommodations covered, you have 2 meals a day covered, and you will receive a bonus at the completion of training of $1,000. Now, something I get told a lot is that they are not sure if they should go to training because you have to leave your job for a month. You do have to have a little bit of savings set up if you don't have any support, because obviously $140 a week isn't really paying any bills. Like, that's not going to pay anybody's rent, you know? And so it is sometimes, in some cases, a sacrifice to go to training in order to make this happen. But if you know this is the career choice that you really, really want, maybe you could pick up extra shifts, maybe you could get support, maybe you go into your savings a little bit. It really just depends on how much you really want it. But I want the rate you're paid during training to be the sole factor you don't do it, because you have to imagine once you're through training, you will be paid a decent salary. Their current mission is connecting people and uniting the world. If you can say something along those lines in your interview, just remember that. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Other words that you want to keep in mind on your resume and when you go into an interview are their key principles of service. That is caring, safety, dependability, and efficiency. Those are the words that they associate with themselves. And so you want to associate with yourself as well to make it seem like you're already part of the mix. You feel me? Like you're a perfect hire because we see the same things. And their slogan is good leads the way. So if you can show how you're a leader, how you are proficient, how you are efficient, then those are great ways to show that you are a perfect fit for the airline. Speaking of resumes, let's go into that a little bit, okay? If y'all want, and I think y'all have asked me, and so if you did, I'm sorry. If y'all want a complete video just on how you should structure your flight attendant resume, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I promise I will finally do it, but I just want to make sure that that's something y'all really want. Now, as far as your resume goes for your flight attendant applications, you want to keep it clean, smooth, simple. It shouldn't be any more than 2 pages. You don't want a bunch of graphics. You don't want photos. You don't want a whole bunch of fonts. You don't want a whole bunch of colors. You want to keep it simple. There are 2 colors on my resume. There is black text, and then headlines are in blue. You just want simple fonts, easy to read, simple sentences. You want it to have all and any service providing customer service, hospitality experience you have ever had. If you were a server for an event 6 years ago, you now have 6 years of customer service. Don't lie and don't fabricate too much, but honestly, anything that you did leads into the experience that you now have in order to be a great flight attendant. If you've ever been a server, if you ever worked front desk at a hotel, if you have ever worked on the phone service, if you have ever worked as a service agent for anything, if you have anything within food and bev, hospitality, airline, any type of customer service, include that on your resume. Don't add a million different jobs that you've had just to have them on there. Add ones that you've had a decent amount of time at. Other things you can put as a skill. You can include a skill section on your application, and things that you learned and implemented from smaller jobs. That was just a one-off thing. You can put those skills in that skill section. Even in your profile on the United website, it will ask for skills. If you put in your resume and you have a skills section, it'll actually pull words from your resume and put them in your skills section, so you don't even have to do that manually. So making sure you have highlighted keywords of skills in your resume that the application system can already pick up is very beneficial. Read through the application. Now, if you are seeing this after the application's open, you'll be able to see the specific English speaking application. I'm providing this to you before it is up, but there are the other language applications currently up. If you want to look through those, they're going to be very, very similar, slight differences. Like the only difference is going to be like you don't speak Hebrew, okay, for the Hebrew application. That's obviously not going to be a requirement in the English speaking application, but the same principles of providing safety, of efficiency, of being able to work individually or in a team, those keywords, ensuring safety and things like that, those keywords are still things that are going to be in either application because that is the whole company's purpose. So if you can find ways to take some of that verbiage out of their job description and put it in your resume, let's be honest, everybody uses AI now. Your application will be very much systematically looked over. It's not going to be an individual person looking at every single of the 1,000 applications going through. And so if you can make your application, make it look like it was written by you because you are the embodiment of who they are trying to hire, that's great. am not hired by this company. I am giving out these notifications because when I started doing it, y'all seem to really like it and y'all have asked me to keep doing them since. So whenever I see major airlines, even regionals, beginning to hire, I'll keep doing these application opening notifications. You know you want to work international flights if you are willing, especially if you're willing to relocate or their basis makes sense to you, then I think it's worth applying to. If you are okay with the salary, which their salary is very competitive. Honestly, all of the majors are very competitive right now. Of course, when you start, you may see a pay cut if you're coming from another profession, but as long as you put in your time, it will be worth it. Obviously, you will have flight benefits, your family will have flight benefits. I think they're actually the only major airline that allows you to have 2 companions. I think everyone else only allows you to have 1. So that's someone that's like not your parent, not your husband, not your children, extra companion, and they offer 2. It means if you want your best friend, your boyfriend, whatever, someone like that to be able to travel with you whenever you do, they can do that. United is a part of the Star Alliance. If you don't know, every major airline basically has its own alliance. Delta is the Sky Team, American is the One World, and United is the Star Alliance. So when you're hired by these airlines, you basically have access to all of their alliances as well. So if you go to United and they're a part of the Sky Alliance, then that means you have access to Lufthansa, Air Canada, Avianca, they're great for South America, Copa Airlines, they're great for the Caribbean and Central America, and a bunch of others. So if you want to travel through Europe, if you want to travel through South America, if you want to travel through Central America, if you want to travel through Africa, if you want to travel through Asia, you don't necessarily have to only depend on United specific name airline. Sometimes they code share, or sometimes you have access to those other airlines within their alliance, and so you can still travel the world in your free time. If you have any questions about this application, feel free to leave them below. If you have any questions about becoming a flight attendant, please feel free to drop those below as well. I do provide flight attendant prep, so please feel free to register for a flight attendant prep call with me. These are one-on-one calls, and I am so happy to help you get into the industry if this is your first time trying to get in, or if you've tried multiple times and you still haven't been able to do it. Go ahead and feel free to book a call with me. I'll be able to either prep you for the interview, for the application, help you with your resume, anything that you want to cover. I am happy to go over that with you, and so that you can join this amazing industry that myself and thousands of other flight attendants are in. Please don't let training scare you. I know there's a ton of scary training videos out there. Training is really not that bad. If you get to training, if you get a CJO, that means they want you to be there. 6.5 weeks can be a bit of time, especially if you're a parent, you have upcoming events, things like that. I totally get it. But if this is the career you want to be in, it's the sacrifice you have to do, and then you will be able to live your life. They do seem to have a decent amount of flexibility with being able to drop trips, which seems to be nice. I'm just saying this from what I've heard my friends say. And frankly, as a flight attendant, we have flexibility that you kind of will never have in a 9 to 5, if I'm being honest. You can be able to pick up, you can do that in and out of base, which not all airlines have the ability to do. They obviously have a 401k as well, your flight benefits, health benefits. They do have minimums, which not all airlines have. If you have any more small questions, again, feel free to drop them below, and I cannot wait to hear from you and let me know if you put in your application. I am so excited for you all, and until next time, bye Sky Fam.